Hello, welcome to When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank. I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. As usual, wearing clothes. Well, you can't tell because there's old school Overwatch gameplay going on. But anyway, there's no need to see me. I'm just a below average looking being with a dwindling bank account. Anyway, I've I've I'm just laughing at the I'm laughing at the algorithm. I mean not the algorithm of not my algorithm. I mean the algorithm of the internet. The obviously I watch YouTube. But I mean I watch certain things on YouTube. I watch anime, lots of anime. Lots of anime. Um Lots of hot chicks. I guess that's pretty much it. But anyway, I keep seeing. Oh, and of course, Charlie Kirk is in the news. I haven't done a Charlie Kirk video because no one cares what I have to say about it. But that's what YouTube keeps recommending is just people who I've never heard of, and I'm talking people with 2 subscribers to people with close to 1 million subscribers. I mean, there's millions of people that use YouTube, so obviously I don't know everyone. But there's just all these people that I don't know who they are. From once again, from 1 subscriber to 1 million subscribers, giving their thoughts, and I'm just like, why would I care? Like, why is this being recommended? And then I look at their channel, and their channel, like every other video, is about video games or about fashion or about travel or about like fixing cars. But their last 6 videos are about Charlie Kirk. I'm like, what is going on? Like, and I understand, you know, political commentary, social commentary, but if your channel is you're a chick and you do try on hauls and your last 6 videos are about Charlie Kirk, that's what's wrong with the internet, I think. Because I think everyone, I know, I'm totally complaining about first world problems. I know. But I just find it fascinating when there's some goth chick who pretty much every video is about black lipstick and 6-inch boots, and then the last 6 videos are about Charlie Kirk. I just find it weird, but at the same time, everyone is just trying to get as many clicks and views as possible. Obviously, I'm not because I I suck, but I want to know what goes through someone's head. Um, I mean, I don't know. And then some people are pretending that they were friends with Charlie Kirk, and they're making videos about it. I'm like, I doubt that you knew Charlie Kirk, considering every video on your channel is a video game review. I don't believe you. I don't believe you, but like, oh god, the internet is silly, but half of us live on it. But anyway, I forgot. I came on here to say something too, and I forgot what it was. Let me think. Oh yeah, this is the real reason why I came on here. No, and it wasn't just to look at Overwatch gameplay. Because of all the people who made videos about celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Now, if you're a regular listener, and I know you're not, but if you're a regular listener, for the past, God, I don't know how many years, I've said the same thing. The loss of any life is bad. It doesn't matter who it is. Okay, and it's not good to get used to celebrating the loss of life. It doesn't matter if you love the person, hate the person, whatever the person. And usually, making fun of someone dying is bad. Doesn't matter who it is. And you guys remember when Biden was president. I thought he was the worst president of our lifetime. Obviously, he was an enemy of the state. Everything Biden did was harmful to America, but I wasn't on here going, someone needs to kill him. I was like, he needs to be taken out of office, though. But I wasn't saying kill him. And I just think it's really weird the difference of mindset between, and it's just people on the extreme, like a person who is extreme far right is actually an anarchist, and then a person who is extreme far left is a fascist. But it's funny how the people on the far left are the ones that call everyone a fascist. But anyway, it was really weird seeing so many people, and it's mostly women because the Democratic Party is a very feminine party. That's why you don't see, you know, manly men, straight guys, like regular straight guys, like men of culture on the left, because it's a very anti-male. Like you got to be a coy. I combine cuck and soy. You got to be a coy boy, basically, to to be like a far left male for sure. Like that's why people like Destiny and Hassan are you're extreme. Like on the internet, and I didn't look it up, but I was on X, and there's post of Destiny sucking dick. I'm like this is who you listen to. This is who you have on mainstream talk shows and news segments, and there's pictures of him on X doing cuck stuff. I mean, it blows my mind, but that shows you the mentality of these people. But I've seen so many videos, and once again, I don't look at this stuff normally. So it's YouTube and X pushing this. So many people are talking about how they are leaving the Democratic Party because of the reaction to everyone celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. But they're not leaving the Democratic Party because they think differently. They're embarrassed that people in their party are reacting. And so they're doing what I call social damage control. And it's just performative. I bet you all these people who are making videos about I left the left because of all the vile behavior from people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, they're just saying that because it looks good optically. But they are going to vote the same way next election. Okay? Because not every, but most of the videos I saw, they were embarrassed. They didn't say it was wrong to make fun of another person being assassinated in front of his kids. And, and I mean, it doesn't matter who it's in front of, but they're just going, it was in front of his kids and blah 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 blah. It just looks bad. I didn't hear anyone say it was wrong. They just didn't want to be associated with it, which means that when it comes election time, they're gonna still vote the same way because no one's gonna know. No one's gonna know who they vote for, because you're gonna keep that a secret, right? You're just gonna vote, and you're not gonna tell anyone who you voted for. And like, if you still voted left, you can just lie. I mean, like I think people are going to be less vocal about their support or like who they voted for, and which is a good thing because I remember a time where like you didn't know who anyone voted for, you just kept that to yourself. I don't know what happened to make everyone be so open about what they're into. In like, and I'm talking about all kinds of topics. Like I've never seen so much like it's like putting your pronouns in your bio and your sexuality in your bio and which religion you are in your bio, who you voted for in your bio, and your bio. It doesn't have to be X, but there's people who like lead with some kind of identity. Hi, my name is James, and I'm a Republican who likes bondage. Like, why do I need to know this stuff about you? There was a time where you could be friends with someone for 10 years and wouldn't know any of that stuff about them. You wouldn't know who they voted for. You wouldn't even know their sexuality because it was just nothing you talked about, and you would just assume they were normal. Okay, you would just assume they were normal, but and I think I might have said this before, but the first time I noticed people just making everything, just like too much information, like this TMI epidemic, I first noticed that when did Facebook Live come out? Let me look that up. Hold on. Gotta go on my other computer. Let's see. When did Okay. Okay, in 2015. 2015 was when Facebook Live beta came out cuz like I was one of the well, I'm not special, but I was one of the people that beta tested. I mean, like I'm sure millions of people did that, so I'm not saying I'm special, but I beta tested Facebook Live, and that was 2015, and that's when I noticed people just start sharing just way too much information, and that's when, and I remember because I would be in a couple of Facebook troll groups. And so a Facebook beta would be like, yeah, this group gets to use because like the group could use it, and so this group can use Facebook Live, and you're like, oh, what is this? Whatever, whatever. And so that's when I first noticed people just because, especially in a troll group, people were just posting everything from like you know real life porn to them buying drugs to them doing drugs to doing fake talk shows, whatever. But I'm just saying that's when I noticed people using Facebook Live, or them they're doing their version of a nuisance live stream. Like going out in public and being on Facebook Live. Like that's when I first seen or noticed it, and then people would divulge too much information, and people felt like a celebrity because they're getting attention from six people in a troll group, and so like they just got worse and worse. And then I remember the pinnacle of this Facebook Live stuff and the oversharing. I don't even know if this girl's still around, but there's a girl named Kayla, and she was the queen of Facebook Live, and she would basically be on camera 24/7. There would be a camera on or a Facebook Live on 24/7. She like sleep on the couch. It's serious. She should have friends over. She was a drunk. Okay, like, and we would watch her because it being I believe it being a troll. Well, of course, it was in a troll group. There was one time she had like the cops. Well, the cops came over a few times with her, And I remember one time she went out with like three gay guys, and then they brought her home, and then they all kind of crashed on the couch and was talking. And like a couple hours went by, and like I wasn't watching all the time, and I came back and I watched it, and the cops were there, and she told the cops that the three gay guys raped her, and everyone who was watching the Facebook Live were like, she she called the cops and just randomly said that, and so then the cops grabbed the phone and were reading the Facebook Live comments, and and they're like, oh, okay, so this. And so she got arrested, which is pretty funny, which is pretty funny. But well, not arrested, but she got detained for being drunk and being a nuisance. But that's when I noticed the oversharing and people indulging in the excess of attention, and that's when I noticed people going putting their identity first above being a person first. But if it wasn't Facebook Live, it had been something else. So I'm just saying when I first noticed it, because that's when I first noticed people live streaming, or like nuisance streaming, because like at least of her, like she'd go to a bar and like she'd be live streaming, and it wasn't just her. There were several people doing it. But yeah, it was definitely 2015 when I want to say the pronouns in the bio epidemic started, I think. And it's it's social media's fault, but it's also people like watching other people make a fool out of themselves, and at the same time, especially with all this identity politics stuff, like even the Charlie Kirk stuff, it's like if you say something crazy, you're gonna get more clicks, more views, and then other people are gonna see all the attention you got, so then they're gonna make a post. Because and it probably is normal to these people, the people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I mean, I'm assuming they really do feel like that, because even with clicks and views, if you told me I was guaranteed to get, 1,000 subs if I just made a video going, "Thank God he's dead," I still wouldn't do it, because I would just feel, well, I don't feel that way. Um, and like the one thing about at least my podcast, they're honest, and I actually don't say stuff to purposely get subscribers. Obviously, I've been doing this for over 15 years. I only have like 150 subs. So obviously I'm not trying to get in the algorithm. Um, but it would just feel weird. And then, I'm not addicted to online validation, because pretty much every comment I've ever gotten online has been a negative comment. And even back when I did, because my favorite thing to do is actually do K-pop stuff, and that's why I made this when I have spare time, like unlisted. I'll call it the 199 unlisted, because I'll make videos like this, and then the When I Have Spare Time podcast is just gonna be K-pop. I don't know if you've noticed, like that's why I haven't had a video on the other one for a while, because I'm just doing K-pop on the When I Have Spare Time uh, podcast channel, or playlist, and that's why this one is just I'll do anything. Um, but yeah, I the reason why I haven't posted anything K-pop related is because I haven't really been. Well, I follow it, but there's really nothing interesting, in my opinion. There's nothing interesting going on, and it's just people complaining. It's amazing how negative something as trivial and as entertaining K-pop can be. And so I'm gonna make a video relatively soon about all the negative stuff I've been seeing, but it's just people complaining, and I guess people like to complain. And I'm assuming negative stuff gets more views than positive stuff, which is probably why all the Charlie Kirk stuff is so popular, and all this stuff about. And I'm assuming there's a bunch of people making videos about how much Charlie Kirk meant to them. I haven't seen that in my suggestions, so I've only seen the negative stuff. And then the same with people leaving the Democratic Party. All those videos are negative because it's like I'm leaving, and let me tell you why. And then they recap all the negativity. Like I haven't seen anything positive regarding anything on the internet lately. And then I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised I don't have several thousand subscribers with all this stuff I say, because I think I say some pretty horrible things on this channel. So you so you would think I would you would think I would have like a million subs by now, considering I've been doing this for like literally like over two channels for like I don't know. I've been doing YouTube since like YouTube started. It's just this this isn't my first channel, but you would just think I would have a lot more viewers, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, and here's another thing: like when it comes to politics and views and all that crap, and I'm assuming I'm just the average person. My politics views, all that stuff. The only person who's ever changed my views on anything is me. I've never had a conversation with a person that has changed the way I think. I've never, and it doesn't matter what the topic is. It could be something as divisive as abortion or religion or just whatever. Politics. I've never had my opinion changed because someone said something, or someone famous said something, or because Charlie Kirk said something. You know. Now I know, and I'm sure other people do this. You watch people or listen to people who have similar views to you just because you want to just I guess be validated, maybe. Or you want to hear someone else say what you think in a slightly different way. But I've never had anyone change, so, or I've never had anyone change my view. So like that's another thing I found fascinating about all the people, like the people on the left who were just so so angry that they get violent with people. What I don't understand is, if you don't like someone, I don't understand why people on the left seek out people who they don't agree with just to fight them. Like I don't understand the mentality. Like, why is the left so violent? And then like I've never seen a person who's right leaning actively go out to someone with opposite views to attack them like physically. It's weird how the mentality is so different. And like I've never seen a riot with a bunch of right leaning people. I've or conservative people. They come off as a very peaceful bunch. And but I've seen dozens of riots, and people being attacked, murdered, whatever, vandalism by left leaning people. And it's a crazy mentality. And it takes something like Charlie Kirk's assassination to bring it to get it enough attention so that like normal people who aren't online all day notice it. And I think that's what really hurt uh, the the Democratic Party. That's why all these people are making the videos, because it's a lot of normies who are making these videos, and they don't want. And once again, I just think they don't want their family members or their friends to think that they're crazy violent, or because when people think of left Democrats, whatever, according to the internet, like they're like the party of Satan, the party of violence. If you're a normal person, you don't want to be associated with that. But I tell you what, I don't think you're going to change the way you vote, though. I just think, once again, optics, because the average person cares what other people think, and the average person thinks they're more important than what they really are. The average person thinks, oh, well, everyone's paying attention to what I'm doing. That's why people dress a certain way. That's why people act a certain way, because they think, well, everyone's watching me, but in reality they're not. But you know if you're a person on social media who thinks it's very important that you make a post going, I'm leaving the left, you're the type of person who thinks I'm the center of attention, everyone cares what I have to say, I better make this announcement. Even though no one, the only thing you have to do is keep your political opinions to yourself, and it won't matter. Because all of these people I've seen making these announcements, none of them have a political social media channel or whatever. Like, I'll go on X and like someone will drop a video and I'm like, you post about like you know going to Starbucks, or like what you're wearing today, like so this is also a case of, I want to see narcissistic people who think they're more important than what they really are, people who think they're being watched, followed more than what they really are. So it's kind of silly too. But I mean, I guess that's the kind of world we live in, where everyone thinks they're, a celebrity. I guess. I guess. I mean, I can guarantee you, no one gives a rat's ass about my opinion on who to vote for, or my opinion on immigration. Because I'm thinking, just like I said, we'll take the topic of immigration. No one has ever changed my views on that except for me, and but my views have pretty much been the same. I want a East Germany. I'm talking Berlin type wall with machine gun towers all across America's borders. I've always been like that. I've never. I don't want anyone coming over. And if they do try to cross over, you take that machine gun tower and you unload. I've always thought that. Like, so, and that's never changed. And I'm talking back when I was in middle school. I thought that. And I've never thought diversity was our strength. Life isn't diverse. You know what's strong? People who or think like-minded, and they get together and do something. Imagine being in a band and everyone is diverse. So like, you have a drummer who's a jazz drummer, a guitarist who's a classical guitarist, a bass player who's a death metal. Do you think that band's gonna work? No, it's gonna fall apart. It's who's ever in charge is gonna be in charge of something weak. But imagine if everyone in the band was like a death metal musician. Okay, well then it'll probably be a really good band. It'll probably sound good. It'll probably be, strong. And I know that's a musical analogy, but think about that in terms of just life. Yeah. Diversity is not a strength. It's a complete weakness. Complete weakness. You gotta look at the channels where it's a girl who does lingerie try on hauls, and then her last six videos are I'm leaving the left. Bitch, no one cares. No one gives a fuck. The reason why people watch your channel is because they masturbate to you. Do you really like go go on a woman's channel that does try on hauls, and why is 60% of the comments men? Yeah, come on. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Anyway, I've said enough. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Peace.